Let's bring in Mark Cuban, the Mavs owner. He joins us now, Dan Patrick Show. All right, what do you think about this? Changing the dimensions of the floor in the NBA?
No, simply because you have 30 arenas that were designed for that floor, and it would be physically impossible to standardize it. Just can't work.
I have a lot of free time, Mark. I was just thinking that when
you do, Dan.
I'm watching the spacing there, and everything's on the perimeter, and I just wondered if you could extend it a little bit or widen it. What would you want to change in the NBA if you could right now?
Oh, my goodness. What would I want to change? The officiating. What else? Seriously, I mean, that's my 20-year battle. But
no.
Yeah. But, no, the game is beautiful right now. It really, really is. Players understand that they have to add skills rather than just bang or run or even just catch and shoot. And I think that's really changing the game significantly. Guys can put the ball on the floor at any size. They can, pass the ball. They're just all the dynamics continue to evolve, and that's great for the game.
I would love to. Have you ever thought about trying to referee in a preseason game, like a summer league game?
I mean, I don't want to. That would be a joke. I mean, when I was in school, I refereed intramural and stuff like that. So it's not like I have zero officiating experience, but at the same time, I'm not saying it's not a hard job. It is a hard job, but management matters. And so, we've got new people in place. We'll see what happens.
I was wondering about you with what's going on with Jerry Jones. Like, at what point does an owner become a detriment to the league? And I'm sure 10 years ago, you had owners who probably wanted you out, probably including the commissioner.
Yeah. There was more than one that wanted me out, probably from the time I walked into the door up until, 2008, 2009, when they got used to me. But it's interesting. What I noticed with the commentary from the NFL, when they start using language like detrimental to the league, that's not an accident. That's for legal reasons. Because if the NFL is anything like the NBA, there's language that says once you start taking actions that are detrimental to the league, if the league takes actions against you, then you're responsible for paying all the league's bills for it. And so it was, I'm sure it was said with intent in mind.
You agree with how Jerry's approached this?
Well, there's two pieces to it, right? So first there's the asterisk piece. I don't know the details behind what Zeke Elliott did or did not do. Domestic violence against women is an important issue, and I don't want to diminish it at all. And so, if it's minimal, like Jerry seems to think, then, that's one situation. If it's not, and it's very, very serious, like the commission seems to think, that's another thing. But giving Jerry the benefit of the doubt, giving Zeke the benefit of the doubt, then yes, Jerry's doing what he thinks is right. In professional sports, particularly football, you only have a moment in time where everything's playing to your benefit, where you have a franchise quarterback and a franchise running back and a franchise receiver and a franchise tight end. And, once one injury and that ends in an instant. And so Jerry is doing the right thing for his team and his fans by trying to get Zeke on the field and doing whatever it takes.
But is he doing the right thing for the league and the other 31 owners by suing the league?
Obviously, if I'm one of the other 31, I'm saying no. But I think, Jerry doesn't care about that, just like I didn't care about that. He represents the Cowboys. He represents Cowboys fans everywhere, and that's the perspective he needs to take. Will it have long-term detrimental impact on the league? Only if what comes out about Zeke ends up being bad. If it ends up that it's not bad and the league overplayed his hand, then, he's doing the right thing.
You said that the league was 10 years away from imploding. You're talking about the NFL. That was 3 years ago. Has that timetable sped up or slowed down, in your opinion?
I mean, it's probably slowed down a little bit, but I don't think the concept has changed at all. I think, like I said, Dan, climbing the mountain to get to the top of your industry is hard. Staying there is even harder. And so I think that's still in place. And I think they overplayed their hand again from creating too many TV shows, too many nights of football on TV. I think that was part of problem one. Maybe they're recognizing, maybe they're not. The issue with CTE, I think, is a far bigger issue. I think right now, because they haven't been able to solve it, and I don't know that it is solvable, I think it's starting to permeate throughout football, throughout the United States, at every level. I was talking to someone from the NCAA, and they said that participation in high school football is down dramatically everywhere except in the SEC country. Their participation is flat. But if participation continues to fall 10% a year, you're not going to have the base of fans that get excited about it on Friday nights, which leads potentially to them being a lot less excited about them on Sunday afternoon and Sunday evening. And so, I don't know necessarily that the ratings are as reflective of a problem as some people think, but I think the decline in participation is a huge problem. I know I have an 8-year-old son. He plays flag football, and I love him playing flag football, but I wouldn't let him play tackle football. But that's not even the bigger issue. The bigger issue is he'd rather watch YouTube videos than watch football with me on Sunday afternoon. Literally, we watched the Steelers-Chiefs game this past weekend because I basically forced him to, and it was the first time I'd been able to get him to watch a game without him having a device in his hand ever. Wow. And I think that's part of the challenge for the NFL.
He's Mavs owner Mark Cuban joining us, Dan Patrick Show. What would stop you from signing Colin Kaepernick as an NFL owner?
Whether or not he could play.
That's
Whether
it?
or not he could play. Yeah.
But even in that state?
It depends on the market you're in.
Yeah.
I mean, what's changed is in the past, there would have been 10, 15, 20 beat writers that would have had to have written something every single day. That's not really the issue any longer, whether it's bloggers or newspaper beat writers or even local media. Now the issue is social media and how each team is prepared to deal with that, and to a lesser extent, national media. But, yeah, if he could play, winning cures all. What he did in speaking up for himself, I don't think would not prevent me from signing him, no.
When's the last time you were out in public and just a regular citizen came up with a great idea for Shark Tank?
Well, that's a great question. I don't know, great idea, but there's been times when people have elevator pitched me, 30 seconds or less, and I've given them my email, because that's the hard part. Here's a tip for everybody. The longer the story, the worse the deal. So if you're going to pitch me or anybody, don't start with, when I was a kid and my dad or my mom and yada, 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 or, I went through this problem and I solved it with that. I don't care, right? Get to the meat. If you've got a good idea, tell me why. Tell me why it's great, and do it in 30 seconds. And if you can't do it in 30 seconds, it's not as good an idea as you think it is.
Did you have a smile on your face when LeBron was saying that Dennis Smith Jr., his man crush, that he should have been on the Knicks, that they made a mistake passing him up?
No, the exact opposite. I'm like, dude, you just jinxed us.
I can't believe he fell into your lap. I can't. Oh. I mean, he's an exciting kid,
you never
man.
Know, right?
Yeah.
He is exciting, and he's a good kid, too. People don't realize how much Dennis Smith Jr. and Dirk have in common. They have one specific trait that makes them almost like twins. They're both like, when Dirk was 20, he was a 40-year-old in a 20-year-old body. Dennis Smith is a 50-year-old in a 19-year-old body. The dude is old. The dude is just old, and that's a good thing. Fortunately, he doesn't have old legs, and he's got good basketball IQ, but it's crazy to talk to him.
Well, you're a 12-year-old trapped in a 50-year-old body, aren't you?
That is the damn truth.
Hey, great to catch up with you.
Always, Dan. I appreciate it. Maybe I've gotten up to be 22 rather than 12, but
Thank you, Mark. Safe travels.
I appreciate it, Dan. Anytime. Thank you.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV or download the Dan Patrick Show app.